What is up, everyone? It is your boy Dan from Player 2 side. As you know, Dragon Ball Fighter Season 2 has just came out, and with some system changes, we actually got two brand new characters, one of which is the waifu, Videl. And I really want to talk about her because I'm really excited about the way that she is and what she can do. So I want to talk about what she does, what I've learned with the character, what I've seen with the character, and kind of how a general play style should be developed. So, first off, I want to mention that this character is kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different characters. Characters like 17, characters like Bardock a little bit, characters like Ginyu. She's got all kinds of different stuff going on for her. But she's also her own thing. She's not so much stealing these things, more like reinventing them and using them in different, unique ways. So, I'm going to start with talking about her normals. So, let's talk about 5L. 5L, you can see right here, is actually not a very good normal. It's a pretty suspect normal. So if I'm standing right here, my 5L is gonna whiff. I'm literally right next to you, and it's not going very far. Why she's trying to punch his hair, I don't know, but that's what she does. And then the second hit does launch her forward, but not very much. If I set him to reflect the second hit of this, if I do like a staggered 5L 5L, if I go like this, there's no way I'm gonna be able to approach again. And if I mash the second hit of the L, you can see that doesn't push me close enough. Still too far away. So it does lunge forward, but not really enough for it to be that useful. Probably should go this way. Anyways. So, 5L, not super good, but I do want to mention something about her light auto combo. So, you might see that right there is going to throw you the other direction. This is important because not every character has this, and in a situation where you're in the corner and you start pressing buttons to get them off you. Say there's a block string that's not true, or you know that they're going to stagger right there. Whatever the reason may be. You press some jabs, and just mash the light auto combo, boom. Look at that. You stole the corner. So, it's important to know that that flips you backwards, just so you can know that you can get right out of the corner without having to do much other than press the L button. So, talking about her 2L, it is a low light. You can rapid fire these. You can also combo into the rest of your string, right? So that's good to know. She does have a low light. Now we're going to talk about 5M. 5M, kind of interesting, right? It's a weird looking normal. It looks like an overhead. I can tell you that it very much isn't. If I have him guard all and set him to crouch, you notice he doesn't have to stand to block it. It is not a overhead at all. Kind of looks like one, but is not. Unique thing about this normal is that it's kind of deceptively long. So this is from the start of the round. It's not going to hit at the start of the round, right? But if I walk just a little bit forward, it actually will. So it's actually farther than it looks. It looks like it's a really short normal, but it goes farther than it looks. A thing that's worth noting is that she has a 5L and a 4L. So that's just neutral M and back an M. They're the same thing, but what you can do is you can actually do two in a row. Now, I'm going to show with... I'm going to do that with 21. Notice how I can't get a second standing M. That's because most characters don't have this. As a matter of fact, I think the only other character that does have a 4M that allows you to do it twice is Cell. I don't think anyone else can do it. Oh, that reminds me. She also has a 4L. So she could do the first L twice. I don't see the reason for this. Another character that can do this is Android 18. And Android 18, though, it makes more sense because hers is a standing light, or standing low, standing low. So I can see why you would want to do two lows. It's kind of like doing two lows right here, right? But you can do two standing lows. Okay, I understand that conceptually. Why Videl can do two standing lights that aren't low, I don't know. And I'm actually pretty sure if I switch them to guard all, I switch them to reflect, Oh, okay. He can't reflect that. I thought that he could. He cannot. So that's good, I guess. You can make your block strings a little bit longer, but I guess it's kind of like Vegito syndrome. Try to get them to block long enough to make a mistake. Not really a mix-up in that, but hey, it exists. But she does have a 5M and a 4M, so you can do that twice. Now, her 2M is actually really far. You can see that that's going to hit from the start of the round. And actually, you can even back up a little bit. Just a little bit, though. Oh, really? I thought... just a little bit. Not very much, but it does go pretty far. But you also might notice that's really slow, right? If I use a character like Goku, who has a very good 2M, you can see that he can rapid fire these things pretty fast. Videl's is much slower than that, but it does go a little bit farther, so kind of takes you know, the good and the bad. But the problem is going to come in the block strings. Because this is so slow, you're going to have problems getting true block strings with this, but we'll get to that. So 5H. 5H is this awesome looking turn shoulder. Look at that. It's so satisfying to hit. But it's not actually that far. So from the start of the round, it will hit. But if you just outside of that range, you can see that the hitbox on it looks a little weird. See, because it hit right there, but it looked like it shouldn't have, given when I'm that far away. It's like I'm like on his toe right now, so that missed. But when I'm right here, that hits. I don't know. The range is deceptive to me. I guess it's worth noting that on block, it pushes him away a decent amount. It actually reminds me of Goku's, regular Goku's 5LLL, his light auto combo. He does like this palm thing that really sends them far away. Next is, I guess we'll talk about 2H. 2H is really short range and isn't very good. It's really short range. It actually doesn't hit very high either, like comparatively to like say Android 21's. Like look how high hers goes. That's way up there, right? And then look how high hers goes. Even Goku. Can even use Goku as an example. Look how high his goes. Nice and high, right? And then look at hers. It's real low. It's not Krillin-esque, but it's resemblant a little bit. It's not very good. But of course, still has overhead invisibility like every 2H, so that's kind of what you use it for. You're not going to use it in combos. You're certainly not going to use it in block strings that I can think of. So there's that. Now she also has another unique normal on her H's, which is 6H. And that was it. That was one hit. So interesting thing about her 6H is it has 3 hits to it. And you can actually special cancel from any one of those hits. The problem being is that if I set him to guard all and then I set him to reflect and I do 6H, you can notice that he's going to reflect the second one, and then the third one comes at him and is short. It's not far enough. So that I just did what you should be doing. If they do the first 2 hits and they reflect, you can actually just do Core Super Forward Light or 236L and get right back in there. But her block strings are a little suspect. We'll get to that some more later. So now we're going to talk about her specials. So a big and important one is her Rekkas, but we're not going to get to that until later. So we're going to talk about her other specials first. So we're going to talk about her weird dive kick. So she can do this in the air as well. But essentially, it looks like a dive kick, but it actually is a Hurricane Rana, or I think that's what they call it. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched. It's been a while since I watched any wrestling. So, but there are 3 versions of this: the light, the medium, and the heavy. The light version sends them down, and you actually get a hard slide knockdown off that, I should say, so you can super it. The medium version, you don't get that slide knockdown, or at least you can't. I don't think you get super after it. Maybe level 3. Hold on. I've never actually tested this. Okay, you do. So that's cool. But you can actually see that Great Saiyan Man, you know, comes in, dive kicks you. You, of course, can vanish off that one. So that's cool. And also, it starts. You see how she kind of faints? It starts up a little differently. It's interesting. If they're crouching and guarding all, you might notice that it just whiffs. So this only hits standing opponents. It will not work against a crouching opponent. Even the H version won't. So kind of an issue, obviously. And the H version, it just gives you this, and then you can super dash. Easy enough. Interesting move. Utilizing it in combos is a little difficult, but it is a thing you can do. Utilizing it in a block string, I don't recommend it because, like I said, if they are crouching, it will just whiff, and then you're just gonna get hit. So it's more used for situations in a mix-up, which we'll get to some more mix-ups later on. So now we're gonna talk about down, down, light. Down, down, light, medium, and heavy. So she has a down, down motion. Is she the only character that has this? Someone else must have a down, down move, but I don't know. I can't think of any. But she does down, down, and then this is down, down, light, which doesn't provide much hit stun, but you are airborne during this, so you can actually air dash after it. And you can obviously do things like call assist to cover it and get a conversion that way. That being said, you can obviously 2H the crap out of this thing. So it's not that good. It's more for if you're in a block string that is true, you can get that cross up, make it true with certain assists, and with them certain assists, that's kind of how you utilize it. Stuff like Kid Buu, or even Goku's Goku Black and Goku Super Saiyan, or even base Goku. Any one of those would probably work with that assist, but outside of that, like, this move isn't that useful. So that's the light version, right? Here's the medium version, a little bit slower, but gives you that knockdown. You can't convert off of it unless you vanish. Can you super dash? Yeah, no, you have to vanish it. But at least you can vanish it. And then the H version, which you can totally super dash. That's cool. Next thing we're going to talk about is actually she has a DP. So if you don't know what a DP is, that's an invincible reversal, which is, hers is quarter circle back and S. Boom. It's like that. To show you that it's invincible, I'm going to have him guard all, and then we're going to have him do a medium attack after. So you might notice that I went right through his medium attack and attacked him. I'll switch him to heavy just so it's a longer standing normal. I just go right through it. With the DP having, or with her having a DP, had a stroke there for a second. With her having a DP, this means that she kind of has some get off me tools in a wake up situation, and also in block strings that aren't true. She can just boom, vanish, and then get a full, little combo off of it. So that makes her very dangerous in strings that aren't true. She doesn't really have to commit to a reflect, which her reflect is unique, which we're going to get to once we start talking about well, we'll get to that very soon. Noted that you can call an assist if it hits. This is a change that was made technically this patch, but if they are guarding, you can't call an assist. So if you commit to the DP, you commit to it. The only thing you can do is reflect or vanish, and if you vanish, they 100% can reflect it every time. So they could also technically level 3 you in that situation. So be very careful throwing out the DP. Not a good idea in every situation. And now I want to talk about her air Rekka. I'm going to talk about that first because it's not really a Rekka. It's actually just 236M or L in the air. So if I send you in the air, right, I get a nice sliding knockdown, right? And we're going to do this from the corner just so you can see. This isn't an optimal combo. I'm just going to say that right now. But it's just to show you what you can do with the sliding knockdown situation. So, sliding knockdown sends them a little bit farther, boom, just like that. That's a basic combo. Everyone can do that, right? But she has this unique thing that is this move right here, which is 236M. Particularly the M version. The light version works too, but the M version is the important one that we're talking about here. So, because she has that, it knocks them down, and look how much closer they are to me. On top of that, on top of it doing a bit more damage and leaving you, like, closer to me, I can also get a slide knockdown now out of other situations. For instance, like a super dash. Notice how he techs right off the ground. There's no, I can't get a, if I super dash at you and do this, unless I, unless I, in season 2 now, unless I vanish and then Dragon Rush you, I can't get a sliding knockdown. But I have to commit to a bar. I don't want to do that, obviously. I want to save my bar. So, with Videl, you can actually do 236M, and that will give you a sliding knockdown off a super dash. Just like that. Nice and easy. So, off situations where you usually wouldn't be able to get a sliding knockdown, same thing with, like, 5H. Right? I shouldn't be able to get a sliding knockdown after this, but I can. So, she gets a sliding knockdown every time. A lot like, actually, Goku, Super Saiyan Goku does. So because of that, you have some options now that a lot of other characters don't, and this is a very valuable thing. This is a thing that actually makes one of the most important things that makes Super Saiyan Goku better than Goku Black, is that he has a slide knockdown every time, and that's really useful. So, next I want to talk about her Reflect. So you might notice this. She does this little whoa. Whoa! That's her Reflect. So unlike most characters, when they reflect, they push you away. With her, she doesn't actually push you away. She instead... just kind of gets out of the way. Ugh. Can I even do that? Hold on. She instead just gets out of the way. The problem with that is that he's still right in my face. So if he decides to keep pressing buttons, we'll do something really active. Is that even a... Is that... Yeah, okay, that's backwards. You don't want backwards, you want forwards. Wait. There we go. Wait. There we go. Okay. So, in situations where they have a very active... That's not really going to work. I don't really want to record anything, but I guess I could. But I'm not going to. Just imagine this. Because I don't have a button that's easy to record on this, so I'm not recording. Anyways, if they keep pressing buttons, if I do this, I can just go back to blocking, sure. But the problem is I didn't push them away. So they're still right on top of me. So they just keep pressing buttons. Her Reflect is very bad. It's cool, and there are options that you can do some stuff out of, but it's like a lot of risk to do those things. So, for instance, because I've already showed you this, you could dodge with their attack and then buffer DP. And then you would get the invincibility frames out of that, so if they're still attacking, your DP will go right through, and then you can vanish and get your confirm. But if you commit to that and they choose not to keep pressing buttons and block, you are going to die. So, a lot of issues with that. That's not a very good thing to have. I would rather just be able to push them away from me, but she doesn't have that. Not very good. Alright, so now I want to talk about her Rekkas. So if you don't know what a Rekka is essentially doing one input and then inputting other moves or other inputs that give you more moves. I realize that explanation probably is a little confusing, but to give you an idea, if I do 236L, I get that. If I press L again and again, I get more. Okay, so I get more moves. That's a Rekka. This initiates the move, but you don't have to commit to more of it. That's essentially what it is. And then you can commit to more of it. And her Rekka has 4 hits. Unique thing about all the hits. So second hit is a high, right? Third hit is really just combo fodder. You're gonna be using your assist most likely in those. This is all with the lights, by the way. I guess I should state. And then the last hit is really bad on block, but it uses up your smash, just to say, not but. So because it uses up my smash, if I do like this, if I try to 2H, notice how I couldn't super dash. Well, I might have been able to super dash, but it doesn't give me the animation for the super dash. It's because I've already used my smash attack technically after that. So, one other thing is that it also leaves you airborne. So you can like air dash after. Her Rekka is a main thing about her combo stuff. We're gonna get into that, but there's an issue with the Rekka, and it's the same issue that 17 has, is that you can reflect the crap out of the Rekka. And because the Rekka is kind of unsafe to do on block strings, it's a problem. So, just to give you an idea, I'm going to set him to guard all, right? And I'm going to set him to crouching as well. So, he blocks the overhead, he blocks this. I call the assist. And none of this, besides the overhead, there's no real mix-up here. You know? So now I'm going to set him to reflect. That's vanish. There we go. So when I set him to reflect, look at that. It just completely stopped my pressure. So you might be asking, well, what the hell do I do in that situation? Luckily, you have 2 other buttons on your stick or on your controller that you can press that are going to be your options for mixing this up. So, if you press forward, circle, forward, light, or medium, they're both the same. H is also just the same, just goes farther and faster. But if you press anything other than light, you press medium, look at that. I switched to the other side. It gives me a little snap. And that actually combos, which is cool. But in a situation where they're blocking, so look at that. So like, I could go overhead on the same side, or I could mix it up, go on the other side, call an assist. You know, this is where like a lot of her tricky stuff is going to come from. When the Rekka starts, the initial thought is, well, I know I can reflect the second hit. So you go to reflect, and the CPU is going to reflect it on the way that it's going to come in. So he's going to reflect the other way. But normally that's not going to work, right? And if I call the assist, I just air dash in, and then I'm back in. So like, her pressure is, she reminds me a bit of Vegito, where her mix-up isn't really that strong, but her pressure is extremely strong. Like, sure, this flip stuff is like annoying to block, but you can visually see it, right? It shouldn't be hard to block. And as long as you know the second hit of the Rekka is an overhead, you just know to stand there. There's no reason to not stand there, right? But the problem is that, man, she just keeps coming. She just keeps coming. I can't stop her from attacking me. If you learn this character and you learn how to make all of her block strings true, oof. If you can't get this character off you, you're gonna get hit eventually. And when you get hit, she hurts. Last thing I want to talk about is her S's. So, well, the last thing I want to talk about in this section, I got some other stuff to talk about, but I kind of count this as a special move because it's not like a key blast. She actually doesn't have a key blast, technically. She does have a key blast, but it's trash. I'll get to it. So, 5S standing is, you just call a Great Saiyaman, he comes in, punches you in the face. Boop, goes full screen, and actually will beat super dashes sometimes, I guess. It's not very consistent, not a very good way to beat it. What? I literally just tried this on a different character. Maybe, okay, there we go. It will beat a super dash, but man, it has to be pretty preemptive. You can't like react to it. But it does beat super dashes, technically. But that's another thing. It's not like a Ki Blast because Gohan can actually get hit out of it. It doesn't hurt you, I don't think, if he gets hit, but it doesn't really do much for you if he does. And now he has, or I should get on to the 2S, which is a really weird one. Gohan comes out and lobs this shitty Ki Blast, then gets really hype about it. Look how hype he gets. I don't know what's up with that. I have no idea what to use this for. It's too slow to use in a neutral, and it's almost too slow to use in setups. I don't know what you use this for. But hey, it exists, and it is a Ki Blast, so it can be super dashed. Okay. I guess. I don't know what it's good for. Now, onto her Air S and Air 2S. So, Air S is just like this dive kick. Comes out pretty fast. You can also air dash after it, so in a situation where, you know, you call like an assist, make them block like that, you can see that can cause some pressure, right? Also, pretty important on a snap, because you can jump back and call, like, you can call Gohan and then call an assist. I've seen some pretty nasty setups with that. I don't know any of them yet, but you can do that on the incoming. And then jump 2S. Jump 2S is the most important one to know. Jump 2S, Gohan comes straight down, steps on your forehead. It's important for a couple reasons. I actually don't know if this is overhead or not. It's not. I'm about to say that'd be really cheap if it is. This is important for a couple reasons. Mostly, in my opinion, for setups. So, in a situation where I knock you down in this corner, this is particularly corner setups, by the way. I'm going to knock you down in this corner, and then I'm going to jump up and then call Gohan. So, if I set him to guard the follow-ups, he doesn't even guard him. He's like, I'm not even going to guard him, I'm just going to get hit by it. In that situation, it'll force them to block. He didn't for some reason. I don't understand why he didn't, but it'll force them to block. You know what? I'll do this, just so you can see it. And you can actually see that I came down with a light. So you can do that and then come down with a button, or you can do that and then come down, go low. Or you can do that, come down, Dragon Rush. Or you can do that, come down, air dash, you know, M or whatever. So, like, you can kind of see where this becomes a problem for them, because if you get that slide knockdown, you jump in the air, do this. Their only option to get rid of it is to actually reflect, right? But the thing is that if they reflect this situation, they're just reflecting Gohan. They're not reflecting you. They have to commit to a second reflect. So if they commit to a second reflect and I go for Dragon Rush, they're going to get hit. If they go for a second reflect and I do a staggered 5M, you see how this is not like a... There's no get out of jail free card here. It really jails them in the corner and makes them kind of have to guess in a situation, which is great. I actually really love that. This Jump 2S is definitely the most useful of the S moves. So be sure to utilize that. Next, I'm going to talk about her supers. So she's got 3 supers, which is, you know, not every character has. Her first one is this right here. So you might notice 1880. It's kind of low damage. That's like a 4% difference almost between Android 21's and hers. Kind of low damage, but there is a reason for this. And the reason being is that you can actually get a follow-up after. So this is just off raw super. This is not going to happen. There's no invincibility to this super. But if I did this, I can actually, look at that, go for a super dash and knock him back down to the ground. So 18 3,800 becomes 3,700. Cool. You can also end the combos like that. So, the problem is with the super dash is that usually there's no reason to go for that. Simply because they're gonna fall out of it if there's too many hits. They're not gonna stay in the air long enough. So, normally what you do, particularly in the corner, is that I should let you see that. Oh god, it goes farther than I think. I should let you see that when she does it, she's airborne. She does this little flip and she's air. She's in the air. So because she's in the air, you can actually just do 2S. And then after 2S, you can mash Dragon Rush. And maybe mash a little less hard. Boom. And then you get a sliding knockdown. That's what you use it for. You can super dash after it, sure, in certain situations. But in much better situations, that's what you want to do. You want to do, like, you're going to confirm your Rekka, and then you're going to go into this, and then you're going to call Gohan. And then you're going to Dragon Rush. And then you can get another one, right? Which actually does pretty good damage. So, that's what that's used for. That's what you want to use it for, is to get Gohan's 2S. Pretty good. Pretty good super overall. It also hits grounded. It looks like sometimes it wouldn't, but it does indeed hit grounded, so cool. Next, I guess we'll talk about is her 236 HS. It doesn't actually matter. So, that's her 236 HS. It is a counter. And the way that it works, it's not instant. It's not like DP, which is instantly invincible. It's more like Vegito's counter. So Vegito's counter starts up at like frame 3 or 4. So if I try to do this real late, you notice that it gets stuffed. See? I did it, I lost the meter, and I got a counter hit. So I did input it. It did give me the input for it. But because I was late, I still got hit. Important to note about that, obviously. Another important thing to note about it is that if I get into a situation where I'm doing this kind of shitty reflect / dodge, right? If I do that, I could do it into that. So if they're going to stagger the strings or they're going to do something like that, you know, you're committing a lot. This is the same thing. This is the same issue I was talking about with the DP. You get, you know, if they block this, you just die. If they choose not to attack you right there, you just die. So there's a few issues with the reflect and the counter. The counter being frame 4, you know, it's not really the best thing to use in those situations. Because you can still get counter-hitted. And if you don't get counter-hitted and they just do nothing, you still get hit. So it's not... It's an interesting thing. It's decent to use if you're going to call out a super dash. So if they super dash at you, I pressed the complete wrong buttons. Pretty decent for that. Another thing to note about it, I don't know if I can even get him to do it, but Gohan will do this big thing. I'm the Great Saiyaman. When he does that, everything that involves Gohan is powered up now. He does more damage, which is cool. I don't know if there's any real practical use for that, other than I've seen that you can do a touch of death off the counter if you have a character that can do a level 5 super. That's pretty useless, but I guess I should note that if you do this, you can DHC for a chunk of damage. Like if I DHC 5 meters right here, you get 67% damage because you super dashed at the wrong time. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Last but not least is her level 3. Her level 3. That was the first thing I wanted to note. Doesn't go the full range of the screen, so you kind of want to be a little bit closer. But when you do it, it's a big combination. Go for a big dive kick. This will send them right into the corner, which is nice. And the one thing that's kind of weird about it is when you can move again. It feels like it takes forever before you can move because they got to do the thumbs up. And then you have to try and meaty time. I find meaty timing off of her level 3. I'm pretty sure you can meaty it, but it feels awkward. It doesn't feel very good to me. So figure that out for yourself and figure out whatever meaty timings you want to use. But for me, I find it a little weird. I don't really like how long it takes for me to be able to move. And then when I can move, I don't know how long it takes for them to get up. It feels kind of weird. But other than that, that's her supers. Now, lastly, I want to talk about her assist. This is where I kind of said, like, she's a little bit of Bardock. It's because her assist is almost identical to Bardock's, with 2 exceptions. One, slightly slower. And by slightly, I mean like 3 frames slower. It's not a lot slower. It's not that much slower at all. But also, you might notice the range on it is really far. Like, that's farther than Bardock's. Luckily, because it's like Bardock's, that means it's very easy to combo into. I say as I do it way too early. Nice and easy, right? And then if you get a more, I mean, everything's kind of easy to do with 21. So let me show you a more normal character. Oh. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the timing. All right, are you gonna jump cancel, bud? I don't know what's happening. There it is. I don't know why that took me so many turns. But it's not that hard to combo into. That's what I'm trying to say. If you can do the jump cancel in the combo, easy, dude, from there on in. It's a good assist, and it comes out really fast, so it works good in block strings as well. Because you can press it kind of late in a block string, and it's still like it makes it a true block string. Very good. So that's the basics of Videl. I'm gonna do another video that's gonna be more important stuff, like the blocking strings, combos, and mix-ups. So this is the basics video here at Player 2 Side. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy Videl. I hope you enjoy me. I hope you enjoy your day. Thank you for watching. Later, guys.